Welcome to the road to growth, success of an entrepreneur.
We've raised the bar.
Learn firsthand from successful business owners and create your own path to success.
I'm going to show you how great I am.
It's time to hit the road to growth with team lead of the Enriquez Group, Realtor Vinny.
Hi, Realtor listeners. Today I have Steve. He owns Steve Griggs Design. I think maybe we've had one other landscape company in the past on here, but I'm pretty sure this is the first one. If we had one in the past, well, then I'm wrong. But so for all those people, hey, this is a great one to jump on. Thank you, Steve, for being here today.
I'm the only one you need to have on.
There we go.
That's it. Straight from New York. How are you, Vinny?
Good. 40 years of running this business?
Yeah, I've been doing this a while. Been in this a long time, for sure. In the New York area, very tough market.
So how big of the range? 'Cause I know some like landscaper companies, they have like a minimum of what they're willing to do, like numbers wise. Is that, how do you run your business?
So we run it now where, I mean, it took many years to go from, hey, Steve, can you come out here and give me an estimate, to, hey, I know who you are. I've seen your work. I've talked to my friends. I want to work with you. So I think it's a good starting point. Yeah. Because that's really changed the dynamics of how I do what I do, right? So
is there a minimum then, like where it's like saying, okay, well, we just want to basically do artificial turf in the front yard compared to?
No, we do more of the entire scope of the work, right? Like I won't go out and just do a patio. I basically design the entire property, right? Gotcha. And then from there I orchestrate the entire process, right? So the client has one point of touch versus trying to coordinate 20 contractors, and they don't really have the experience in dealing with contractors. Yeah. So that's how the model kind of works. It seems to work well, because it's there's a lot of moving pieces: a swimming pool, a pool house, an outdoor kitchen, sound system, lighting. I mean, you just can't. A homeowner can't just go out and start hiring individual contractors, because it's really, how does it all work together like an orchestra? How do you put the pieces together? So that's what we do.
And so now at the size that you're at, do you still go to the projects and give the quotes, or is it like you have a team member that goes out there and kind of knows kind of what the ball
No. I go out there and I meet the client. I meet the client. I create the vision with the client, and then I bring my team in there and we actually design the 3D renderings and the working plans and getting the contractor's pricing, and then it goes from there. So, but they're looking to me to create the vision on what they want to achieve in their backyard or front yard, whatever. Anything to do with the outside of the house. I try to explain, like anything outside the four walls.
I'm assuming over the years, right, you've had, good, because we talked about it briefly about competition, right? Where you have like Joe Smith basically knows how to put grass in. I mean, how do you deal with, I guess?
So like I was saying before, it went from, come out and give me an estimate to, hey, I know who you are. I mean, it took, years and years, 20 years. You're not going to just start this business and come out, at first, if you're starting in this business, you're going to have to do the small jobs and the little jobs and do whatever it takes. I do, think supply and demand. And if it's slower time, I take less jobs. If it's not, it is what it is, the supply and demand of the whole cycle. So what was the question again? I lost my train of thought there talking about.
Well, pricing, I guess I know you have the supply and demand like you're talking about. So you're able to say, hey, this is our price, this is our thing. And you probably have other people that jump in. Because like I know in the real estate field, right, we have people that, we'll sell your house for 1% or something like that, right? And it's like, hey, I bring more value than that.
It's kind of like, there's pool companies that say, hey, the base pool price is going to be 80 grand, let's call it, right? Yeah. But in actuality, when you actually get out there and do the work, we didn't add enough gravel. I have to do the trucking of the dirt. So you try to be transparent. Hey, if I want a swimming pool in my backyard with a patio, landscaping, outdoor kitchen, and all fence, what am I looking at? You're looking at between 250 and 400. So, I can look online. The pool, I can go swimming for $38,000. But I teach them, like, listen, the pool's just one part of it. You have the gas, the electric, the patios, the landscaping, the front, it's just not the pool.
Gotcha. Well, let's rewind. You said, so 40 years in this business, did you always have aspirations to jump into the landscaping business?
No, it didn't. It kind of just, format. Okay, so it was like in high school, take those aptitude tests. Don't like being in an office. Gonna be outside. Be creative. Checked all the boxes. So I went to the landscape architecture school from there. Yeah, and it just kind of, worked for a guy when I got out of college, and it just kind of morphed into one truck, bunch of guys, getting rid of the guys, hiring more professional designers, and going that route as opposed to actually doing the work, as opposed to designing and overseeing the work.
Gotcha.
Most people can find somebody to dig the hole, right? Like, it's where to dig the hole. Is the people pay for, the old analogy, plumber can knock on the pipe or whatever. It's $500, but he knew exactly where to hit the pipe. That's me.
Gotcha. What was like the biggest hurdle in kind of jumping from, I guess, hands on the ground compared to actually running a team, kind of running the trucks? I mean, what was like the biggest hurdle for you in those over the years? It
was just really, working, finding the right partners to work with. And now we've had the same trade partners for 20 years. It's really like I kind of liken it to like a sport, like a team sport. Like, everybody has to work together, right? Like, there's not one guy on the team that's the greatest guy. Like, the quarterback's not the whole thing. It's the whole team. So you need to have everybody working together as a team. I just happen to be the general manager of the team, right? And the quarterback is like the project manager, right? And it goes down to it goes from there. But yeah, you need one guy to control the vision and one guy to have the communication. There's only could be one boss, and that has to be me, because too many chefs becomes very chaotic.
So what have you learned, I guess, in bringing on the right team members then over the years?
Pay them well, pay them quickly.
Okay.
Pay them well, pay them quickly. Like pay them well, make sure they make money, because I see a lot of guys get the cheapest price from another contract and they try to do a cheap job. And you need these guys to make money, because if they're making money, they're happy. And if they're making money, they can come back and do repair work if need to. Like, you don't want to make the margin so small where you're crucifying the subcontract and he can't make any money. It's not fair to anybody.
So is it mostly like, I guess, trial and error? Hey, I got this guy. He seems like they have a good team. Let's bring them on. They do good. Okay, let's pay them.
A little more than that. You got to kind of like vet them, go to their job sites, hang around with them for the day, see how they work, see if their trucks are clean. Just see how they operate. Are they chaotic? Are they organized? The materials come on time. It's like building a house. Like, so there's certain elements that have to follow each other, especially with like a big backyard with a swimming pool, right?
So what do you think like the time frame is? Let's say hypothetically you're starting again, right? And you didn't have any connections. Maybe you're moving to California, right? You're starting your business over there. And you're like, okay, I got to find good subs. So how long of a time frame are you basically putting in to find the right people?
I've done a couple jobs out in Sacramento, down in Georgia, Massachusetts. You just basically, you ask around, go to the suppliers' houses, like the Stone Yard and the nursery. Hey, who's a good guy that you would recommend? Oh, Tom's Landscaping. And then you meet with Tom's Landscaping and say, hey, I have a great opportunity. I can bring you beautiful jobs for your portfolio. I can pay you whatever you need, to make it a profitable job for you. And you don't have any headaches, really. You just have to run the job efficiently as you can. And I will take care of all the admin, the back end, dealing with the client, collecting your money, all that. And they seem to like it.
Man, who do I have? I had someone else on talk about the same thing. And I told the supply companies. I mean, I think that's a gold mine right there for people listening.
What does he do? Flight company?
No, going to supply companies like you just talked about.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think I had a painter or something like that on talking about that, going to basically like you go to the like a paint store, right? And then you get your card there. Yeah,
who buys a lot of paint? Who's one of your big? Oh, Tom's Painting. He buys $100,000 worth of paint, so he's a legit guy.
You talked about that you had some good stories of either not getting paid or the jobs. You got one that comes to mind.
I'm afraid it's going to scare your listeners off. Like,
hey, you know what? It's always good to get a little.
Yeah, and everybody like looks on the thing. Oh, easy to do. Come on Instagram, dude. Try running a business like in New York City, where you're gonna get $500 in parking tickets a day just because the traffic. It's just crazy, right? So I mean, from not getting paid to having a wall fall down, that's one that. I think so. One of the lessons here, we had a big retaining wall fall down. Nobody got hurt. And I basically just looked at the client and I said, you may not want to come up this weekend. The mud fell into the pool and filled it all up. And so I took care of the whole issue. Cost me $100,000 out of pocket. But I think the story was like, I think I was able to turn that lemons into lemonade, where the clients is like, okay, I know he has my back. I'm hired the right guy, because things are going to happen. You just face it head on, clean up the pool, clean up the thing, get it all done, get the insurances involved and all that. But yeah, it was a good lesson, again, probably some of it my fault, subcontractor, trust and verify. They always say, like, got to watch everybody. Like, you got to watch everybody. Make sure they're doing their job. Make sure they're following the specifications. Don't just set them and forget them, kind of thing. So
you brought up the idea of not getting paid, right?
We're not getting paid. Like, if owner says, I don't like it, I'm not paying you. I mean, it happens.
So
very rarely, because years ago that happened more than now, because now you set the expectations better. Our systems are much better, where you set the expectations. If it's not on the contract, it's not included. Oh, I didn't know it was going to look like that. Oh, I didn't know the size of that. But now the 3D renderings really help. They can really see what it's going to look like, because when you show a client a blueprint, oh, okay, it looks good. But when then you bring it to the job site, oh, I didn't know it was going to look like that,
So do you do so I guess you're laying better expectations now. There's rendering. What are there other things you do now to protect yourself and your team, that you make sure you get paid?
Really, the biggest thing is, if I have to sum it up into one word, is communication.
Yeah.
Communication. Hey, it's going to be a delay. Hey, it's going to be this. Just think about if you're, if you're living in your own home and you have a contract to come to the house. I don't know. It drives me crazy. He's not coming. He just didn't show up. You're expecting him to come. You put the dog away, whatever the situation is. I try to tell it to my subs. It drives me crazy. If can't come, you better call me in the morning and tell me you're not coming. Don't show, right? So it's those little things that add up, which diffuses so many issues. Like, if you don't, any of your listeners who listen to this, like, just do that one thing and it'll change your business. Just that one little thing.
Well, if we were talking, in 5 years from now, what are your aspirations? How big do you want to get your company?
I'm 65, right? So, what am I going to do, right? Like,
so do you have any kids that you plan to pass it to, or like someone you're going to sell the business to in the future?
No, I got two older. I got a 24-year-old and a 20-year-old, 26-year-old and a 21-year-old, right? Wife doesn't want him in the landscaping business. It's like, sees me come home tired and all, but I wouldn't do it anyway. They need to go out there and kind of cut their own teeth, and then maybe eventually want to come back. But this is not daddy's free ride, my boy. I didn't grow up like that.
So is there, because I have a father-in-law that does flooring, and he's trying to find his, kind of exit strategy, I guess, right, of what's his pathway. For you, is there going to be a retirement, or is it, hey, retirement?
We go. We just keep. Well, I think retirement. What is retirement? Like,
I hear you.
Like, what am I going to do? I don't golf. I see you golf. Like, that's cool. You golf. Like, I'm not a golfer. I just hang out on the beach. I'd be bored. I get bored, man. Like, I think it really comes down to how far you can push yourself as a person, right? That's really what it comes down to. Like, okay, what else can we do? We talked about briefly. Maybe we start a course. Maybe do something else. We had written a book, so that was good. Check that off the thing. We were on TV. Check that off. So just to keep pushing yourself to see how far you can really go with this, right? That's really the goal. It's no, there's no really. That's, for me, that's personal satisfaction. Is, hey, what else can we do? Right.
Well, what keeps you running, keeps you excited? Because it seems like you're pretty excited about what you do. What drives you?
The hunt. It's the hunt.
The hunt of the next deal?
It's just the hunt. Like somebody's trusting you with their backyard.
Yeah.
Think about it. You're going to shell over $500,000, and I'm going to come in your backyard and I'm going to dig an 8-foot hole by 50 feet long. And you got to trust me that it's going to look beautiful. That's a lot of trust. That's a lot of trust. So, but I do get reward out of it after it's all done. It's kind of rewarding when it's all finished. Lights are on at night and the sound system's going. They're in the pool. There is a sense of satisfaction. I probably don't give myself enough credit for it, but it is. You change people's lives from it, right?
I mean, yeah, I think probably most business owners probably don't give themselves enough credit for.
Yeah, I definitely don't. I'm the worst critic for sure. But yeah, when somebody says, "Hey, my husband," there's another story. My husband, come by. He's 45 and he never learned how to swim. And at the end of the summer, they invited me over and they showed me that he was able to swim back and forth. So that was a nice story, right?
Uh-huh.
And when somebody says that was the best 500 grand I ever spent, that's really good. You know what I'm saying? At least they appreciate it.
Yeah. So you talk about the hunt. Do you get that similar feeling when you're helping, because you talked about where you have the coaching or starting the coaching business, but you have people reaching out to you about starting their own business. Do you feel any of that same kind of hunt by helping, living vicariously through these people that are reaching out to you?
I mean, I just remember starting out. Don't forget, when I started out, there was no podcast like this. There was no Google. It was just blood, sweat, and tears. It was just brutal. I had no mentors. It was trial by fire, right? So now if somebody calls me, asks me a question, I'll certainly help you out if you're starting out in the business for sure. Just it's a way of giving back, I guess, Do
you think, I mean, you already kind of talked about it, right? You have Google, you have all these other platforms now, but starting a business today compared to starting a business when you started 40 years ago.
Easy.
Right? Well, how do you separate yourself now compared to back then, right? Back then it was strictly word of mouth. Now it's strictly word of mouth, but you also have to have an online presence or have a little flash, I guess. Right?
I still think overrated. It's overrated. No school like the old school. I don't give a crap what you do or whatever. You can be one of those fake guys on Instagram or whatever you do. But when it comes time to execute the freaking project, you better have your shit together. If somebody's giving you all that kind of money, this is no joke. You can pose all you want, but when you have to organize the guys, the machinery, and motivate the labor force, you better know what you're doing, right? So it's much easier now. Listen, I had to learn how to do the Instagram and all that. It's not easy for me. I wasn't born with an iPhone in my hand. So, but I mean, now I just Google it, right? Just try to learn it, right? So you always got to constantly be learning, right? Same within your business. You always got to change. And now I'm taking a course on AI. It's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, AI it's a trip what you can do with that. You got to use it.
I mean, when somebody says, "Hey, you better use it or you're going to be left behind," I take that as advice. I'm like, okay, I better figure it out. I don't have to be a pro at it, but I better freaking know something about it. I don't want to be left behind. I don't want to be the dinosaur guy.
Well, I guess let's change the perspective. If a consumer, right, was looking to find a landscape design company, right, and they're trying to figure out, is this guy that just sizzle that we see on Instagram, or is he real, right? What's the best way in kind of vetting the company?
I just look at his Instagram. Is he in front of the Lamborghini or is he on a job site with his boots on, right? Mm-hmm. You go to my Instagram, I am on the job site with the boots on. I'm in the field, right? So, there's a lot of ways to get It's very tough because people get hoodwinked a lot and they're going to go with the cheapest guy and this guy has this. You really need to, get referrals, get the typical stuff is good, but just talk to the guy. Just talk to them and make sure you guys are in the same page, the same wavelength. You got to vibe with them. You have to get in, if you understand what they're talking about and you kind of get their vision, what you want to do, that's a very good sign.
Are there questions that people should be asking when they're talking to them? Okay,
how much?
What kind of questions?
How much? How long? Oh my gosh, there's so many not the typical questions either. Hey, I'm going to provide a porta-john for your house. People don't think about that. Oh, that's good. Never thought about that. Well, you don't want them really going behind your shed, do you? But so it's things like that. Hey, any certain requirements, You know, the kids come home from school. Do you have a dog we need to worry about? Like, because you're still living in the house, right? You want to be cognizant of people's surroundings, right? Well, yeah, it's bad enough you're working at their house and trucks and all that, but you want to make sure that it works well with everybody, right?
Yeah, I mean, no, it's I mean, that'd probably pretty chaotic, right? I mean, you're spending that much money, that big of your backyard being used. You want to make sure you're protected, not just a hole in the ground, like you said, right? And then
yeah, you just want to make sure there's a hole in it. But I think one of the biggest things is that most homeowners don't understand, so they can only focus on price because they don't understand. Like, oh, it looks the same to me. Both proposals look the same. I don't know the real difference, but he's $50,000 less. Like, there's got to be a reason for that. Like, those are the kind of questions. Why are you so much more than this guy? Why are you so much less? Like, walk you through it, right? Then you got to explain price versus cost, right? I can do something cheaper for the price, but is it going to cost you 2 times over the 3 years because you got to fix it and maintain it? You know what I'm saying? So there's all different things. Like price. I like to use that analogy too: price versus cost. What it costs versus pay once and cry once. And get it done right. Like, don't try to like skim and I can do it cheaper. Like, it's just gonna bite you. You know that. Everybody, by the way, most people know that. But they still think they can get it done faster and cheaper. Like, it just doesn't work. I've been guilty of it too.
What you talked about that? I think you talked about earlier on that you've not focused solely on New York, but you've done stuff in Sacramento, other areas.
Yeah.
What brought you out to those communities?
Just the hunt, just the thrill of, hey, that'd be kind of cool, like going out there and like flying out there and then went up to Tahoe for a couple of days from it. Yeah, that's what I want to do. That'd be cool. Flying around, doing certain jobs. You know, it's 8 degrees in New York right now. San Diego be beautiful right about now, right?
So any of these San Diego listeners right now.
Yeah, let's go. I'll give you friends and family rate discount. Get me out of here. We just had a polar vortex. Google that thing first. You know what that is? Polar vortex? Well, for you San Diego folks, it's a super blast of Arctic air. You see it on the news. It came down from Canada and went all the way down to Florida. Man, it is windy and frigid. Like, whew, brutal.
So
you would know about that though out there, right? No, nice San Diego.
We got I think it was like 65 degrees and people were freaking out. We're like, oh gosh, so
what is it? What's the temperature at night?
I don't know, right where I'm at, it's like 60, 67, 66.
At night?
Yeah.
And what about during the day?
70s.
It's like that the whole year. My son was out there one time. He says it's like that the whole year. Wow. Yeah. So we can go from 0 to 100 in New York.
That's why people come out to San Diego.
I don't know. Yeah, here it's beautiful. The weather's great.
But are there things that people are looking for now? I guess we're doing this in 2025. That like the people that want in their backyards now, are there like particular things that like the wants of people have changed, I guess, over the years? Is there something that's like
we're doing ever since the pandemic and all. We're doing a lot more of outdoor living spaces, outdoor TVs, outdoor fire pits, basically outdoor man caves, outdoor workspaces. Because most people now they're still not back at the office 5 days a week, so they're home 3 days, or they're home, get home a couple of days. I was doing a site walk on a project one day, and the young girl, she was home from one of these big financial firms, working on her laptop by the pool. I was like, wow, this is what it's got. Wow. Yeah. 2 days a week, they can kind of log in from remote. So it's more of that whole, bringing people outside more, for sure. That's helped our business a lot.
No, I mean, yeah, if you're doing, 2 days of work, 3 days of work, you can pay that a little extra money right there to
people want nice things. And I think people should deserve a nice place, like a nice sanctuary that you can call yourself your own, that you can go outside and enjoy a little peace and quiet. And we do fragrant gardens and butterfly gardens or anything to do with that. It's really, I think people really appreciate more of the nature and the outside since that whole nonsense went on a couple of years ago, for sure.
What fragrance garden, is that kind of basically what it sounds like? Plants that smell nice, or what is that?
Yeah, it's kind of like a foo-foo word for plants that smell nice, you know.
Okay,
Like, you know, it's all what they got. Yeah, for pollinator garden is where the butterflies and the bees come in and they pollinate. You know, it's kind of like organic gardening, same thing. It's like the whole, you know.
Hey, you got to be hip with the words, man.
I'm always studying. I got to learn it. It's like, you know, you want a nice. The biggest thing now is like health backyards. Like, you know, I got the little sauna and the cold plunge and a fragrant garden and a little meditation area. You know, it's the whole outdoor Zen experience is very popular now too.
Is there a particular plant or flowers that I guess really smell nice that people should like think about? I guess if they're going to look into.
I mean, I'm sure the foliage out in San Diego is crazy nice. I'm sure. Like, you know, yeah, there's certain plants out here that are very fragrant. You know, like viburnum and certain things. Lilacs are very common that smell very nice. And then there's some calming scents. There's lavender is very calming. And there's all different kinds of plants that do well in this area that are fragrant and have those type of, you know, feelings behind them. And then the grass is blowing the wind, gives a little calming feeling. You know, everything has a reason. Every plant has a reason to be there. Don't just stick a plant in the ground.
No, I mean, that's great. That's great knowledge right there. If people are listening right now and they're looking to either start a business or looking to get a quote, what's the best way of getting more information from you, Steve?
At SteveGriggsDesign.com is the website, and at Steve Griggs Design is on Instagram, as they say, IG now, right? I think, you know, if you're planning for anybody, at least in the New York area, by the time you plan the project and execute the project, it can be 6 months, right? Because you got to get the permits and the design, and everybody thinks, oh, I can call you in the spring and I can get you swimming in 6 weeks, and it takes a long time. So just plan it out. For it seems like a lot of you listeners are real estate people. Like the curb appeal is huge. Like if you're selling a house, it's first impression. Make that front pop. Flowers, containers, sharp grass, you know, green grass looks nice. You know, keep everything trimmed and tight. Because, you know, like most people when they look at the internet, they're looking at shopping on houses. They'll look at the house, they'll see the picture, and then they're definitely doing a drive-by. They'll do a drive-by. Before they even call you, they're going to do a drive-by.
Is there a better time of the year to get, I guess, better value or something like that when you're looking at landscaping? Is it like materials cheaper? Or is there anything like that? Or no?
Yeah, it's like booking a flight to San Diego in the winter, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure the plane tickets are high. Like, if you could call a landscaper in April in New York, he's going to be super busy. You want to call him late fall at the end of the season when it's not so busy.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, fair enough. And then I'm going to finish off one last question. For everyone listening, please subscribe to Steve. Go to his website, follow him, do all that kind of stuff. I'm going to finish with one last question, Steve. I know you already talked about San Diego, of doing a job in San Diego, but if you could do any job anywhere in the world, what's that dream place? Is there a place somewhere that you're like, oh my gosh, that'd be so much fun to do a couple weeks there?
Man, I again, you know, since it's 9 degrees here, I can't help but thinking warm. You know, Bahamas, cool. I have a contact working on something out in Italy. That would be a nice goal. Let's say like something in Italy would be very nice. Now with the internet, by the way, it's very cool. It's very doable because I've been on podcasts from people with Australia, Netherlands. Like the podcasting, I'm sure you meet a lot of interesting people from all over the place. I mean, now look, I know some dude in San Diego now, right?
Yeah,
I'd call you up for the weather.
No, it's a trip with the people, and just even perspective of like, I mean, how people look at businesses in different countries. I mean, different part of the world. I mean,
has it helped you? Has it helped you with your business?
It's more of a mindset thing. I mean, I've talked to. I mean,
why do you do this? By the way, I'm just going to ask you, why do you? It's 7:00 where you are, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been up. I already did a workout. I'm doing this. I do this. I mean, I still remember, like, I'll get people reaching out, just being like, hey, man, I just got out of high school. I appreciate it so much. I got this idea of how to start a business and blah, blah. You know, and I don't know. Like you talked about, you see so many fake Instagram people out there and I talk to a lot of people all the time, and it burns me, especially fake realtors. And so I go, you know what? By
the way, what's a fake realtor?
Oh, the same thing you're talking about. Someone in front of a Mercedes saying, hey, I sold that many piece of business, I can show you how it's done.
You have that. You have those people.
Oh, you have it all the time, man. And I can look everyone's numbers up all the time. So I look people's numbers up because people go, "Hey, man, you see this guy over here?" And I go, "He's never sold a piece of business, or he sold a piece of business 2 years ago." And you're
really?
But you don't want to be a hater, but you also want to be like, you know what? Don't get bamboozled by that person. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
So they're really. It looks very real on Instagram.
Oh, it looks so real. I've talked. I mean, people like they go, "Hey, you should talk to my friend about it." Blah blah. You should talk to my friend. He's looking to get in the game, or he's been in the game. And then the next thing you know, he's like, "You could be just like me doing this." And you're just like, "Bro, you haven't sold any real estate. You don't know what you're talking about."
Hasn't sold a house.
Haven't sold a house, but you know what? It looks good.
So are you mainly residential?
Yeah, residential. Do a little commercial.
So what's the average house out there?
Shoot, I was actually looking at the numbers yesterday. The median detached house in San Diego County is a little over $1 million.
Yeah,
we peaked at 1.1. I think it was like last April. I think it was, or last May.
You're not like Northern California though. That's even more expensive. Like
LA. Yeah, LA is no
San Jose.
Oh, shoot, man. I went to the school up in the Bay Area up there, and Redwood City was like kind of the rougher area next to Acton. Not Acton, Atherton.
Atherton, yeah.
Yeah. And oh my gosh, the values. I was talking to a buddy. This is like right before COVID, during COVID. He was getting a fixer property in Redwood City, something for like $2 million.
Piece of junk.
Oh yeah. And I was like, God damn, man, that's fucking
I see it on Instagram, some landscapers that we know that do work up there, like very small lots. Like, New York's expensive too. Like,
they're chalking up the lots here now. I mean, there's a property on a third of an acre they're just developing in this residential community for 72 houses or condos. I mean, but like they're doing ADUs, JDUs. I mean,
we can't do those out there. ADUs, I like that because that would be great for me out here. But no, they don't do those.
Oh, they're trying anything they can right now to get more inventory out here because we're starved.
That's good for you. How's the market? Busy?
The market.
There's no inventory, right? From what I mean, there's no. All the realtors say there's no inventory.
It's supply and demand. Even though rates are high, there's not a lot of supply out there, so the demand is basically still supporting the supply.
Okay, so it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I mean,
if rates go down, people are gonna be, yeah.
So if rates go down, what? Hurting, selling? What are they doing? Like,
if rates go down, we're gonna be talking about the market's gonna be shooting back up. But I theorize that we're going to start seeing probably the next couple of years, really people pushing more and more 40-year fixed mortgages. That's going to be the new norm, I think, in like 10
why?
years. Well, because then the numbers look better.
Oh, you stretch
right?
Out. So at 30 years, it's $5,000. At 40 years, it's $3,000. Looks much better.
Yeah, right. And then you go, oh, okay, I can afford this.
Because everything is just so high anyway.
Yeah, that's my theory. We'll see if it rings true, but that's what I think is gonna happen.
I mean, 40 years, all right. So lock it in. Let's go 50. Where am I going? I mean, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna look better, and then when that happens, you're gonna see values go up higher, and people are,
okay.
That's my theory. We'll see if it rings true.
If it happens, I'll be damn. Vinny was right. He's not an Instagram poser.
Well, hey, I appreciate it, Steve. Thanks for being on the platform. Again, hopefully everyone got some great nuggets right there. Hey, and the best time is any time to reach out to Steve.
It's like, when's the best time you sell your house? Now, right?
Now, exactly. 5 days ago.
When's the best time to buy your house? Now. When's the best time to do your landscape? Now. So there you have it.
Appreciate it. Well,
nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you too. Please subscribe. Please share. Go find Steve. Bye, one.